A dawn of terror in Kiev. Russia unleashes one of its most brutal air assaults yet. Hundreds of drones, missiles raining down, leaving destruction in their wake. Among the casualties, a 12-year-old girl. This is not just war, it's a message. In today's video, we unpack the scale of the attack, the strategic implications, and what Kiev's response might mean for the war's future. Stay tuned. Early on Sunday morning, under an air raid alert, Kiev and its surrounding regions came under sustained and devastating assault. Russia launched a combined attack involving both drones and missiles, striking residential districts and infrastructure across multiple parts of the city. Initial reports confirm at least 4 people killed, including a 12-year-old girl, and 14 injured, some in serious condition. Kiev's local administration later revised casualty figures as more recovery efforts continued. The districts of Darnitsky, Sviatoshinsky, Solomiansky, Holosivsky, and Dniprovsky were struck, with vehicles catching fire in courtyards and multi-story residential buildings sustaining damage. Anti-air defenses were active throughout the assault. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the attacks as brutal, detailing that the barrage involved nearly 500 strike drones and more than 40 missiles, including Kinzhal-type missiles and Russian-Iranian Shahed drones. He urged an escalated international response and called for harsher economic pressure on Moscow. Meanwhile, residents fled to metro stations and underground shelters, desperate to find safety as explosions shook the city. What stands out in this assault is the sheer magnitude. Many analysts are calling this one of the heaviest and most sustained attacks on Kiev since the full-scale invasion began. Independent monitors and media reports echoed the same. The combination of hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles indicates a multi-pronged approach. Drones offer saturation, overwhelming air defenses, while missiles, especially the hypersonic Kinzhal, bring precision and destructive power. The inclusion of such weapons is a stark reminder Russia is escalating its tactics. By striking residential areas and critical infrastructure, Russia appears to be waging a war against civilian morale, aiming to stretch Ukraine's air defenses and force the government to spend resources protecting urban centers. Also worth noting, Ukraine and its allies have repeatedly warned of increased Russian use of drones manufactured by or with support from allies such as Iran. The presence of Russian-Iranian Shahed drones in the assault confirms that collaboration. Russia likely aimed to test Kiev's readiness, probe air defense weaknesses, or divert attention from other fronts. But the human toll and messaging may prove equally significant. Ukrainian officials responded rapidly. Kiev's military administration stated that more than 15 locations were damaged and began rescue and damage assessment efforts. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko urged residents to stay in shelters and reaffirmed that emergency services were working across the impacted neighborhoods. Andriy Sybiha, Ukraine's foreign minister, condemned the strikes, saying Moscow fires hundreds of drones and missiles and accuses Russia of deliberately targeting civilians. He called for the world to increase pressure on Russia. From abroad, countries and alliances are likely to push for stronger sanctions and military support. This kind of large-scale attack provides Ukraine with more ammunition and appeals for heavier Western backing, including air defense systems and logistical support. Ukraine also has to consider how to retaliate, both militarily and diplomatically. Keeping up morale and showing resistance is critical. This attack is not just about immediate damage. It's about messaging, positioning, and escalation. Escalation of drone warfare. Russia's drone capacity is clearly growing. Saturation attacks force defenders to stretch resources. Ukraine must continuously upgrade detection, interception, and electronic warfare capabilities. Strain on air defense. Even a well-equipped Ukraine will find it harder to defend every region. Repeated saturation attacks force trade-offs. Protect the capital or defend front lines. This decision is costly. International leverage. Russia may hope this aggression pressures Western countries to avoid further escalation or to act more cautiously. Conversely, Ukraine can use this as a rallying cry to demand advanced air defense systems from allies. Civilian costs and war weariness strikes on homes, schools, and neighborhoods reinforce the narrative that war is affecting everyday people. The toll on civilian life is not just collateral. It's part of the war's psychological front. Redirection of conflict zones by focusing on Kyiv. Russia may aim to distract or weaken government logistics and command in the capital, limiting Ukraine's capacity to coordinate responses in other regions. What might happen next? Look for increased air defense support to Ukraine, Patriot, S-300, NASAMS, etc. Further Western condemnation, potentially new sanctions, Ukrainian counterstrikes on Russian air bases, or drone launch sites, escalation in drone attacks in other key Ukrainian cities, calls at forums like the UN, G7, NATO for tighter collective response. This latest assault on Kyiv underscores one brutal truth. In modern warfare, civilian centers are no longer backdrop, they are front lines. Russia's choice to unleash saturation attacks signals both desperation and determination. But Ukraine has resilience. The world watches as Kyiv struggles, adapts, and fights back. The strategic implications go far beyond this one attack. They echo in diplomacy rooms, military planning cells, and aid packages across continents. Let me know in the comments. What do you believe Ukraine's strongest response should be? Ramp up retaliation, push international sanctions, or invest more in defense? Also, if you found this deep dive useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay with us as we follow this conflict and its global ripple effects. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and stay safe.